so far. You're halfway through Thursday night football, a little bit more than 24 hours away, but we have playoff baseball tonight, so we have plenty to talk about in terms of bets. Obviously, fantasy football teams, trades, waiver wire, and yes, we're already getting to start flex and sit decisions for Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night. So make sure you join us for the entirety of our show today. Hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, wherever you're watching from. It's great to have you with us every single day here at Butt Fumble Sports. We are going to give out some picks today. We are going to give out some early NFL picks as well. I've already started to scout for the week, so we're going to give out some early picks as well throughout the show, but we're going to give out our picks for MLB tonight, as well, of course, as our fantasy football advice. I also want to give a big shout out to Rival Fantasy. I think tonight is a great night, guys, to get over and try their challenges. This is one I had my eye on early on. Max Scherzer, Christian Javier. I'm with Christian Javier. I'm placing this one myself. If you guys are like me and looking for some really good plays tonight, make sure you go on over to Rival Fantasy and check out some of their challenges. I think you guys will have a lot of fun. Another way you can cash in on Wednesday baseball without a playoff game, without an NFL going on. Not a lot of college football either. Obviously, there's that game tonight. Texas is favored, but keep your eye on Houston. They played well when they played Texas in Texas. So that's our show for today. Hope you guys are with us for the entirety of it. Hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. As always, we're across YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Kick. So no matter the platform you're watching on, make sure you're with us. Make sure you subscribe. And we are going to give you guys a lot of good fantasy advice throughout the next hour plus. So let's get at it. Dev, you're asking about Laporta or Ingram for week 2. Laporta questionable. Yep. And not only that, but he's facing a really good pass defense in the Baltimore Ravens. Here's the issue I have. If Trevor Lawrence isn't playing on Thursday night, I really don't like Ingram. I already really don't like him against the Saints defense. So I'd still ride with Laporta. You're going to know if Ingram has Trevor Lawrence throwing him the ball this week. So that's kind of where I fall out on that. A lot of this week's going to be determined by the quarterbacks. Now, if Trevor Lawrence does play, would I be okay with you going with Ingram over Laporta? The answer is yes. I actually think you're right about Laporta both being questionable and a tough defensive matchup, but you got to make sure Trevor Lawrence is a go. Derek, taking trade questions. Of course, Derek, over on YouTube. Yes, we will. Bob, we're going to get into the player prop bets a little bit later in the show, but hit me up about that again. Bob's asking about Travis Etienne. How about this? When we hit, let me change the live goal here. When we hit our first live goal today, we'll go dive into some player prop bets, and that'll be among them. So I'm going to put that on the back burner right now, Bob Jeff Supreme, but I'll get back into it in a little bit. That Travis Etienne over 63.5. Gotcha. Flappo 328. Need help with the running back PPR. Foreman, Latavius Murray, Justice Hill, Cam Akers. Wow. Tough spot to be in, I'm not going to lie. I've been mentioning this to you guys a bit now. Latavius Murray has some more upside than a lot of people are thinking, so I definitely keep my eye on him. I think that for a number of reasons, Latavius Murray is someone that could be a favorable play. Whether it will be this week, I'm still on the fence a little bit, only because the New England Patriots defense against the run, maybe top 12. You know, they're better in that area maybe than they are against the pass. But with that said, between Justice Hill, Murray, and Akers, I'm going to ride with Deontay Foreman, probably number 1. It would be Deontay Foreman, number 1, Latavius Murray, I think number 2. But at Flappo 328, I'm not crazy about the 4 that you threw up there. OMT, Pittman, Javonte, DJ Moore. Okay, brutal spot to be in. Oh, Michael Thomas as well. I probably like Michael Thomas number 1. And I'd probably go with Pittman. Oh, man, Pittman has a brutal matchup, though. The problem is DJ Moore. Man, this is a terrible spot to be in. Javonte, I'm not crazy about him against the Packers defense. OMT, I really don't like your options. I'll go with Michael Thomas and Pittman, but frankly, I don't like any of them. DJ Moore, I don't know if I can trust him with the backup quarterback. Just a brutal situation, OMT. Jason, Ridley and Lamar for Goff and CeeDee Lamb. I actually like that trade, Jason. I do like that trade. Kevin, should I trade Pitts and London for Ridley and Jonnu Smith? It's a good question. The answer is probably yes, because I want to get out of that Falcons offense. The interesting is you're still staying in it with Jonnu Smith, but I kind of want to get out. You're a little overloaded on the Falcons offense, and they're not good enough, so I'd like Ridley over that. Roshan Johnson or Zach Evans? Great question. I really like both of them this week. I'll lean towards Zach Evans just slightly because the Cardinals are a worse run defense, but it's close. Rashard Martinez, I'll go Evans over Roshan Johnson, but it's close. I think both could actually be really good options this week. Extra chromosome, it's DK Metcalf. Mostert, I think, is going to have his worst week of the season, certainly his worst week so far. He's facing a really tough run defense that just came off a loss. They didn't have Jalen Carter. They should have him back this week. I think Mostert isn't going to be where you get production from the Miami Dolphins offense. I think it's going to be their passing game that's successful, not the run game. So I don't like Mostert this week. I'll go DK Metcalf. Colin, trade Josh Jacobs and Myers for Mostert. As you just heard, I think Mostert's value isn't good this week. That said, I do like his value in the rest of the season. So if you wanted to make that trade, I'd understand. Colin, here's my only thing. Ask for Mostert and something else, another piece. Big Bobby Mack. Trade Burrow, Cooper Kupp, and Pacheco for Mahomes, Evans, and Eckler. Yes. Big Bobby Mack, yes, I would do that trade. Yes, I would do that trade. Pip, 1510. Trade Olave, White for Puka, Myers, Moore. Yes, I would do that trade, Pip, 1510. Yes, I would. Isaiah, Olave, or Addison. This week, I'd go Olave. I understand that the Saints' passing game hasn't performed as well as we would have hoped, but I think this is a week in which they break out, where Addison has a tough matchup this week against the 49ers. Soupy, start Roshan, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers. Soupy, I go Roshan and Zay Flowers for right now. Until I get greater clarity on the Chicago Bears quarterback situation, I'm kind of fading DJ Moore. Rest of season, Puka or Lamb. I'd go with Lamb rest of season. Jason, I'd go Lamb rest of season over Puka. Connor Donaldson, start Najee or Ford. I'd start Ford. Connor Donaldson, I would start Jerome Ford. I actually really like Jerome Ford this week, so if you've had him for the last few weeks and you've been waiting for an opportunity to start him, Jerome Ford is a good start this week. Help! I'm 2-4. I just got sent Etienne, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Hubbard for Christian McCaffrey and Ayuk. My team would be Etienne, JT, Diggs, Amon-Ra, Jonnu, and Kirk, and Lamar. I actually like it. I actually really like it. I think that's a really balanced team. I think you're getting Etienne at a good time. Dallas Ogburn, Craig Reynolds at the flex, I do think is a good option. Rice, Mitchell, Elijah Mitchell. I'd go with Rice number 1. Dallas Ogburn, I think Rashee Rice is one of my favorite players this week. Great opportunity for him to cash in. I know, by the way, big news earlier today. Mecole Hardman traded to the Jets. Traded from the Jets to the Chiefs. Mecole Hardman traded to the Chiefs. So, if he is available in your league, pick him up. If you have him, good job holding on to him. I didn't think he had much value prior to this moment. Natalie, Commanders or Rams defense? Good question. I'm going to lean just slightly towards the Commanders simply because the Giants have been giving up so many sacks this year that I think Chase Young and the Commanders defensive line is going to feast. Start or sit Amari Cooper or Michael Pittman? I got to start Amari Cooper. He's the better option. I don't even care who's throwing him the ball. It's more about the Browns' pass defense than anything else. By the way, another subscriber. Thanks so much for resubscribing. Great to have you resubscribing, ADGX. Really appreciate you resubscribing. Great to have you for another month. Jackson Moore, Amari Cooper for CeeDee Lamb. Like that trade. Yep, love that trade, Jackson Moore. Like getting CeeDee Lamb and upgrading at that position. David, trade Jacobs, James Cook, and Hawkinson. I don't know what Jay. For Kelsey and Gibbs. I also have Breece Hall and Ford. I like the trade. I do actually like that trade. Evans or Hardman in the flex? I'd go Evans. I don't think Hardman... Could he come back and make an immediate splash? Yes. but I like Mike Evans more going up against the Falcons defense. I'll take Evans. Should I start Olave versus the Jags? Yes, Anthony, yes I would. V Lone Soldier, Walker, and DJ for Bijan and Puka. Who wins? I'd rather have Bijan and Puka. A lot of that is predicated on the fact that DJ Moore just lost his quarterback. Jonathan Carpenter, Evans or Hardman in the flex. Yep, we got you on that. We got Evans. Colin, Flowers, and Jacobs for White, Waddle, and Ayuk. Ooh, that's a good one. I think I'd rather have White, Waddle, and Ayuk. Not only am I getting the 3 for 2, but I actually think Waddle could end up being the best player in that trade, with Ayuk being a sneaky second, Flowers and Jacobs, I understand they're both of a certain level, but I actually think Waddle and Ayuk, they have their weeks where they pop. White doesn't have bad value. They've used him pretty well. I think Baker Mayfield's been smart enough to use him as a safety valve in the passing game. He's just contributed to his value a little bit more. Appreciate all of you guys joining us, no matter the platform. Jesse, who's winning? Puka for Ridley and Stevenson. I'd rather have Ridley and Stevenson only because I'm getting the running back depth as well. Katsu, rate the lineup. Herbert, Pacheco, Swift, Ayuk, Myers, Garrett Wilson in a 14-team league. I think that's a good team. I think it's probably closer to a B, maybe a B+ on its best week. It's all about whether your wide receivers have their production. Diego Gonzalez, should I trade Goddard, Evans to the Kyron owner for Laporta? Diego, I actually think that's a really creative trade. I kind of like it. If you're thinking Laporta is going to be the long-term upgrade, which I think he is, I like it, Diego. Smart move. Bear Wiggy, thanks so much for being with us. Is Elijah Mitchell a good play this week? Not as good as we maybe expected. Christian McCaffrey, it sounds like there's a chance he could play, which means Elijah Mitchell isn't as valuable. That said, I'd certainly have him. I'd pick him up in my league, but let's wait to see if Christian McCaffrey's actually out. Jake, he will be on a snap count to your question. I do think Christian McCaffrey will be on a snap count. I don't think they're going to want to take long-term risk with him, especially given where that team is kind of situated right now, especially after the loss. I think they understand they can't risk the health of McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel because they are not good enough at quarterback to overcome that right now. That's no knock on Brock Purdy. He did lead them down there to have the chance at the field goal, but that said, it was a much different game. Think Tom Brady in the early years with the New England Patriots, not Tom Brady later. I think that's what Brock Purdy really is. He's a game manager who's got a lot of talent around him. Drew Hazard, need help 3-3 after losing Chubb. Trade Allen and Trevor Lawrence for Kamara, Nico Collins, and Mike Evans. I actually think it's a good trade because Trevor Lawrence at this point, week to week, it's a little bit of a tough play. I think there are weeks that he is great value. I also think there are other weeks that he actually is kind of a trap. So I think it's a good trade because you're getting two good wide receivers who are locked in at kind of being a consistent target for their quarterbacks. And Kamara's fantasy value continues to impress me week after week. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We are live every single day here at Butt Fumble Sports, answering your fantasy questions, your sports betting questions, your DFS questions. We are here every weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern, every weekend at 10 a.m. Eastern. So if you haven't joined us, welcome to the show for the first time. If you're a regular viewer, great to have you back. Make sure you guys are part of this community of sports fans that's here every day. Love the fact that you guys interact. Love the fact that you guys join us so consistently, engage with us. You guys are the absolute best. Make sure you hit the follow and subscribe button. And of course, make sure you hit that like button if you're enjoying the content. Let's get over to TikTok for just a second. I'll get back to YouTube in just a minute to get back to some of your questions. Max, Stevenson or Zach Evans? I'd go Zach Evans. I'm not trusting Stevenson against the New England Patriots. Against the Buffalo Bills defense. Drop Hunt for Algier. I'm okay with that, RW. I know Hunt had a good week last week. My only concern is I think he could have a good week this week as well. But I think Algier, long-term, is the better play. And if he's available, I take him. But know that Hunt actually might be the better play this week. Daniel, the spam is crazy. Yeah. Do you prefer trading for Myers or Moore? I'd rather get Jacoby Myers right now. I think the likelihood that Jimmy G comes back for the rest of the season is obviously greater than what I'm seeing from Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields, could be a chance there's an issue there. Burger, start Stafford or Goff this week? I'd start Stafford. Burger, I'd start Stafford. Bryce Stanton, sit one. Pittman, Ridley, Debo. I would sit Pittman. Bryce Stanton, I would sit Pittman over Ridley and Debo. Ridley and Debo would get the start. Thanks for the question. Don, Olave or Pittman? Don, I'd go Olave. Don, it would be Olave. R. Robbie Robertson, great to see you again. How should I drop A.J. Dillon or Justice Hill? And should I start Godwin or Rice? I would start Rice, and I would probably drop... I'm not crazy. I don't like Justice Hill this week. I'd probably keep A.J. Dillon if you wanted to play him for this week, but I just don't like Justice Hill. Matthew Louie, Trevor, Gino, or DJ. I have Kirk and Barkley. I'm confused by the question. Is this a trade? I'd rather... Oh, start Trevor, Gino, or DJ. DJ. Daniel Jones? Oh, my God. If I had to start any of them, I'd probably go with Geno Smith right now. I think Geno Smith's actually probably the safest play. I traded A.J. Brown and Thielen for Kupp and Andrews. Was that a good move? The answer is, I actually think it is a good move because it addresses two positions really well. Thielen's performed so well that he became really good value in the trades. But overall, I do think it's a good trade. Luperio, Amari or Olave this week? For this week, I'm going to lean just slightly towards Amari. It depends on who the quarterback is. Really close between Olave and Amari. I might go Olave this week. It's close. It depends on who the quarterback is. But given it's a Thursday night game, maybe I go Olave. I think they're going to get good production out of him. So I'll go Olave and flip-flop on that one because is Deshaun Watson playing or not? We don't quite know. Stobo, Zach Evans, Palmer, or Rashee Rice? Stobo, I'd go Rashee Rice. ETN for Eckler? Yes, I would do the deal. JSN or Moss? I'd go JSN this week. JSN. Don't like Moss this week. Roshan or Spears? Great question. Rest of season? Great question. User 902, I would say Spears. And guys, just listen to this for one moment. Derrick Henry is on the trade block. The Titans are shopping Derrick Henry. Tajay Spears has a ton of good value right now. You know they're going to ride him the moment they trade him. They've clearly seen something that they like. It's probably the speed. Derrick Henry's got a lot of things, but that kind of burst speed that he doesn't have anymore if he ever did. But that said, Spears is a great player to pick up right now, so rest of season I would say Spears. Xander Simmons, great to see you again. Should I start Hawkinson against San Francisco or Etienne against New Orleans? I think, again, it comes down to the matchup at quarterback. Who's starting at quarterback. Etienne, if he gets Trevor Lawrence in the lineup, I would go with Etienne. Otherwise, I'm going to go with Hawkinson. It's all about the quarterback. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are hitting that follow button. Hit that subscribe button. Denny, Thomas, or Lockett? I'd probably go Lockett. Ospol, Debo, Kirk, or London this week. Pick two. I'd go London and Debo just because I'm concerned again about Trevor Lawrence. If Trevor Lawrence plays, Christian Kirk all of a sudden becomes playable. But I'm still waiting on word. You're going to have to join us tomorrow. We're going to hear word whether he's starting or not. Game time decision, I'm sure. Jorge, start two. Tyreek Hill, automatically, doesn't matter who he's playing at this point. I'm starting Tyreek Hill. He can go up against any corner at this point. I would start Tyreek Hill. That's just happening. And I would go Rashee Rice. Jorge, I'd actually go Rashee Rice. He's got the most favorable matchup. Rest of season, Pollard or Walker? I will go with Pollard. I'll go Pollard. Kike is Guap. Please help. No problem. Mitchell, Jordan, or Foreman? I'm going to go with Foreman because I think Mitchell, Jordan, and Christian McCaffrey could all kind of split carries, and that could kind of make that a bit of a mess. If you're going to go with either one of the 49ers running backs, I would go with Mitchell over Mason Jordan, but Foreman would probably be the best play out of that group of running backs. And then I'd go Rice over Palmer. Kike is Guap. I'd go Rice over Palmer. Thanks so much for the question. Elijah N. Trade Ridley for Christian Watson. I'm okay with it. I'd rather have Ridley, but I understand what the move is here. Are you upgrading, or are you just kind of sliding from one position to another? But I get it. Christian Watson, finally healthy, might have a chance to pop over the second half of the season. User 902, rank Judy, Myers, and Palmer rest of season. I would say unless he gets traded, Judy is probably second, Myers first, and Palmer would be third. Poo. Thank you so much for subscribing. Poo. Thank you so much for subscribing. Lucas Maggio, Gus, Judy, and Wilson for Goff, James Cook, and Tank Dell. Lucas Maggio, if you're getting the Goff, Cook, and Dell side, I love the trade. George play Zach Evans or Cook. I'd go Zach Evans. Zach Evans would be the play. Danny, Rashad White, or Williams. I'd go Rashad White. Natalie Perez, drop Odell and pick up Spears. Absolutely, yes. ZZ, trade Puka and Kyron for Jacobs. How bad did I F up? You already know how bad, so Butt Fumble Sports isn't going to make it worse. I'm just going to say, ZZ, I appreciate you being with us. I hope you're having a great day in every other possible way. John, Curtis Samuel or Najee? I'd go Curtis Samuel. I don't trust Najee at this point. I don't care what the matchup is, but certainly up against Aaron Donald, I don't trust him to be able to break through. I think if anything, Warren's the better Steelers running back to own. Raul, would you trade away Gibbs and Addison for Waddle? Yes. Yes, I would at this point. Even if you have Tyreek Hill, I think it's okay. Jefferson and Pittman for Waddle. Yes, I do it. Foot. My team last week. That's just too long a question for me to do right now. Sorry. Got to keep it short. Purdy or Cousins. For this week, I'd rather have Purdy. Dude. Botch. What's up? Do I start Jones, Ayuk, or Puka? I'd start Puka, number one, just barely over Jones. It's very close. I actually really... Man, that's close. I really like Aaron Jones. I'll switch it. I'll go Aaron Jones, number one, Puka, number two, Ayuk, number three. But I really wish you could start Jones and Puka. I think both are really good plays this week. Wish you could get both in your lineup. Greg N. Trade Amari Cooper for Montgomery and Gabe Davis. Yes, I would. Greg N. That's a great trade. I really like that. Montgomery, once he's back, you know he's the RB1. Would you trade Jacobs and Gibbs for Bijan? No, I wouldn't, actually. I think Bijan is proving to be an incredible talent, but I don't trust the Falcons enough, whether it's Ritter or Arthur calling the plays. I just don't trust the team overall, so... Brent, great to see you, Brent. Hope you're having a great day, Brent. Start two. Oh, we lost you. Oh, yeah. Start two, Aaron Jones, Gibbs, Zach Evans. Okay, Brent, I would start Jones and Evans. Jones and Evans. Gibbs is facing a really tough run defense in the Baltimore Ravens, so I would look to avoid him just a bit. Drop Najee for Spears. Yes, absolutely, Danny. I'd rather have Spears than Najee Harris by a mile. Bob Jeff Supreme, thanks for staying with us, Bob. I give A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Kirk Cousins, and Michael Thomas for Hill, Jalen Hurts, and Christian Kirk. Wow, loaded trade, lot of names. Bob Jeff Supreme, you win that trade. I love that trade. You're giving up enough to be able to lure that deal. I actually love it. Now, you are giving up more. I understand that there's going to be a risk of injury to Tyreek Hill, but you lose some depth. I don't care. Love that trade for you, especially because you're almost retaining the value of the Eagles' passing offense by getting Jalen Hurts back. That's a great trade, Bob Jeff Supreme. Well done. Anonymous Gaming over on Kick. Pick two, A.J. Dillon, Jalen Ward, Zach Evans, McCaffrey, Mason. I would go Zach Evans would be number one. And I'll go Christian McCaffrey, too, if he starts, simply because that streak of touchdowns is enough where I'm willing to bet on it if he starts. Thank you guys so much for helping me out with my live goal. As promised, once we got up to our live goal, I'm going to go answer this player prop bet question that Bob Jeff Supreme asked a little while ago. We will answer another player prop bet question every time we hit our live goal tonight, in case you guys want player prop bets for either NFL or the MLB game tonight. The player prop bet question that Bob Jeff Supreme had was all about Travis Etienne and his rushing yards. 63.5. Actually, the better implied probability is on the over. Interesting streak on this one. This has gone back and forth. So over the last 8 games, actually over the last 10, consistently, he's gotten it, then missed, gotten it, then missed. The trend suggests he's going to go over it. There is some kind of method to that madness. Normally, I'm not one to, I usually like to see a consistency of green, but it's very interesting that that has held true over the last 10 games. Wow, really interesting trend. That's 2022. Looking at 2023. Wow, just a really interesting trend right there. Issue I have, Saints are a good run defense. Saints are a top 10 run defense. That's my only concern about that. So I'm a little bit hesitant on that, just a little bit. But that said, I'd actually take the over on this. So I'm going to throw this one up on my board. Crazy about it? No, but I do think it's going to cash. ETN over 63.5 rushing yards. Now, what do I really want to do? I really don't want to take this. I'll tell you this. I'm putting it up here so you guys see it. But what do I really want to do? I'd like to bring this down. I'd like to take this as an alternative if I want to take it at 60. But really, I don't even want to do that. If I'm going to be honest, I don't really like this enough at 63.5. I'm a little nervous about it. So I take it at 50-plus rushing yards. I take it at that 49.5 spot or the 50.5, 50-plus if you do this in those player prop bet parlays. That's what I really like. Yes, you're getting it at minus 270. It's not a great spot, but I put it in some parlays. For those that are new to the show, that symbol that we put next to this means it's a parlay play for me. So it's not something I bet on my own, but I parlay it with like Travis Etienne over 50 rushing yards and Chris Olave over receptions or over receiving yards. Parlay it with something else in the game. Make it a two-leg parlay. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Appreciate you guys being with us. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that follow button. That way you never miss Butt Fumble Sports when we're live on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you subscribe. Those on YouTube, really appreciate you guys watching. We're getting our watch count up, making sure that we're getting even closer to cashing in on all of the great viewership that you guys provide us. Of course, on TikTok, Twitch, and Kick. We appreciate you guys watching as well. But YouTube, we're getting so close to cashing in on the watch hour. So I want to say thank you to you guys who watch over on that channel. Getting back to some of your questions. Tua or Jordan Love? Great question. I'm going to go with Tua this week, though. I know Love could have a good week, but I'll go with Tua. Derek just got offered Eckler and Ridley for Kelsey and Hollywood Brown. My other tight end is Laporta. I'd rather have Eckler and Ridley. Derek, I'd rather have Eckler and Ridley. Max Hewitt, I'd go Gabe Davis. Max Hewitt, I'd go Gabe Davis. Shonk 13, I'd go Aaron Jones over Brian Robinson. Jones over Robinson. Stobo, Evans, Palmer, or Rice at the flex. Ooh, really tough. I'm going to go with Rice just barely over Evans. Very close. It's because the Chargers are the worst pass defense in the NFL. And Rice has been the best receiver outside of Travis Kelce, so I just like that. Thoughts on Geno against Arizona? I think he's a good start for those that don't have a better quarterback option. Deontay Johnson or Myers rest of season? I'd go Myers. I'd trust Myers more. Thoughts on Javier's fantasy value? I think he could pitch decently well tonight. I think he's going to give up a couple hits, maybe 2-3 runs, but I think he's going to pitch better. I think he'll pitch better ultimately than Max Scherzer will. Ty, Kenneth Walker, and Puka for Kamara. I'm getting Puka and Walker. Ty, that's a phenomenal trade. Make sure you do that deal. Ty, I love that trade in your favor. ... Ridley or Flowers? This week, I really don't like either one of them. I'm hearing there's going to be some weather along the East Coast, and that game in Baltimore could be affected. But I'll say Flowers over Ridley, unless Trevor Lawrence plays. But even there, I probably don't like it against the Saints. So I'll take Zay Flowers. 4 dots, I take Zay Flowers over Ridley. NR12, start Goff, tough matchup. I'd rather start Howell. I think you're right. Goff has a tough matchup, and just like I said, weather, expecting a lot of wind over in that Baltimore game. I don't trust the Ravens against my Rams. I'm leaning towards Evans over Rice. Stobo, I totally understand that. DJ Moore at the flex or Brian Robinson Jr. Mark Gonzalez, I'd go Brian Robinson Jr. Let's jump over to Outlier and let's answer another player prop bet question. This one's going to be about the game tonight, the MLB game tonight. Christian Javier on the bump. How many strikeouts will he get? Of course, guys, this is Outlier, the tool that I'm using over here on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. You can see it on the screen. Outlier is a phenomenal tool. If you guys want to get hooked up with this tool, just DM me on Instagram. look at the consistency on strikeouts. Over 4.5 has been incredibly consistent over his last 7 starts. He's only missed it once. That was against Arizona on the road. Let's take a look at this in strictly road games. Hasn't been as good if we extend out the trend, but in the last 4 starts it's been there. Christian Javier has kind of been an enigma this year. A lot of hype about him at the beginning of the season. Did not pitch well for a majority of the year, but has been better of late. We also know that when the lights are brightest, this guy pitches really well. He was great in October last year. Would not be surprised if he had a good game as well today. Like I said, maybe 2-3 runs across the board, but I don't expect him to have a blow-up kind of game that we've seen the Rangers be able to deliver over the last few games against Houston Astros pitching. So I like the over on this. I do like the over at plus 100. Is it a favorable play? Probably not. If we look at the implied probability on this, the under is the better play. According to the implied probability, the under is the better play. But I kind of like the trend on this one, and I wouldn't be surprised if he ultimately delivers on the over. So I'm not going to put it up on my big board, but I'm leaning towards the over on this one. I actually think this is one that could cash. Let's quickly look at how this lineup has done against him. Hitters who have hit him well, Taveras, Jung, but other than that, I think there's an opportunity to cash on this. I think this might be a good play, so one that you want to look to maybe with even odds. Let's get back to answering your fantasy football questions right now across YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Kick. Thank you guys so much for being with us. Ethan Ingram, start 2, Sutton, Palmer, Curtis Samuel, or Downs. I would go with Ethan Ingram. I'd go with Cortland Sutton. And I'd go with Curtis Samuel. Ethan Ingram, I'd go with Sutton and Samuel. Tricky group that you had right there. That's why I'd go with it. HT, Stroh's game. Which way am I going with the pick? HT, over on what game? Stroh's game. Yeah, I like Christian Javier. So I'm not going to bet the total in this one. I'm kind of on the fence on it because one of 2 things could happen. Max Scherzer could completely implode and there's a lot of runs scored and then the Rangers have to be in catch-up mode, in which case I'm nervous about the over-under. Or Max Scherzer pitches well, Christian Javier pitches well, in which case it's an underplay. But in either way, I'm kind of fading it right now. I'm not touching the over-under at all. ATY Flynn 4. I'm getting Pollard for JT and Stevenson. I'm okay with the trade. You lose the depth, but I think Pollard's probably the most consistent, best play out of that group. K-Town shoots. I'd go Jerome Ford. I'd go with Ford. CPS, trade Diggs for Devontae Adams and Breece Hall. I'd rather have Diggs, actually. I think, down the stretch of the season. Dr. Cameron, Pollard and Amon-Ra for Bijan, Puka, and Hollywood Brown. I would rather have Pollard and Amon-Ra St. Brown, just barely. Very close, though. Ray, I traded Dak and Aaron Jones for Hurts. I have Swift and Walker. Thoughts? I don't think you got enough, actually. I don't know if you got enough. Hurts' production has been there on one level, but at the same time, I don't know if you got enough down the stretch. Quabe Santos, Kelsey, Kirk, and Montgomery for Mostert, Kamara, and Laporta. I would rather have Mostert, Kamara, and Laporta down the stretch. I'd rather have Mostert, Kamara, and Laporta, believe it or not. Adrian, is it okay that I have Hill and Waddle? Do I trade? I love having both of them. I have no problem with it. This is an all-time great Miami Dolphins offense. This is an all-time great passing game. I have no problem owning both of them. Gabe, Christian Watson, Pickens, Michael Thomas. I'd go Christian Watson. I certainly like Christian Watson this week, and I'd probably lean towards Michael Thomas. Bucks, Lions, or Chiefs defense. I'm going to lean just slightly towards the Chiefs. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go with the Bucks defense. The Bucks defense could be a sneaky good play. Desmond Ridder on the road. Chiefs defense, I think they're going to get their sacks, but with Eckler back, maybe the Chargers are dynamic enough to put up enough points to kind of chip into the value of the Chiefs. So, Nuve, DK, I'd go with the Bucks actually. Jordan Love or Goff this week. Believe it or not, I'd go Jordan Love. Jordan Love over Goff. Don't check the brand name. Don't check the stats earlier in the year. The better matchup this week is Jordan Love. I'd go Love. Baker, Stafford, Howell, Carr, or Geno have Stroud and Burrow on the bye. I'm going to lean slightly towards Stafford. Just barely over Carr, but I'll go with Stafford. Trade Saquon for Pollard. Yes. I would trade Saquon for Pollard. Yes, I would. Lucas Vibes. What defense do you like between the Bucks and the Browns? Rams, Browns. Lucas Vibes. The Browns are one of the best defenses we've seen in the past few decades, so you got to go with the Browns. Cole Brennan, Kyron, and Devontae for Eckler and Downs in a half PPR. Ooh, really interesting. I'd go Eckler and Downs. Cole, I'd go with Eckler and Downs. It sounds like Kyron's going to be out a few weeks. Garrett 97, Jacobs and JT for Kamara and Pittman. I would rather have... I'd rather have Jacobs and JT. I'd rather have Jacobs and JT only because I think Pittman's value goes down where I think JT's value could go up now that Minshew is going to be the starting quarterback rest of season. Darius 1991, rest of season, A.J. Brown over Devontae Adams. A.J. Brown over Devontae Adams rest of season. Jessica Gray, rather have Kirk or Ridley this week. Man, I don't like either one of them. I'll say Ridley. I don't know if I mean that actually because they're going to put Lattimore up against Ridley in the wide receiver 1, cornerback 1 spot. I actually might go with the wide receiver 2 in this one, and I might go with Kirk. Xander, how we feel? Baker, we're going with Stafford. Xander, we're going with Stafford. And by the way, I feel great. I'm loving life. Wonderful to be able to talk sports with you guys every single day. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that follow button. We are live every single day at 5 p.m. Eastern. There isn't one day that we're not live. Every single day of 2023, we're going to be live. So hit that follow button. Make sure you're joining us. That way you never miss our show. Butt Fumble Sports live every single mofo day. Okay, Oofy Nut. A.J. Brown for Stevenson and Waddle. I'd rather have Stevenson and Waddle. You got me there. DJ Moore or Addison this week. I'd go Jordan Addison. JAD. Should I trade DJ Moore, JT for Mixon, Ridley, and Addison? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Foreign Concept. Would you start Michael Thomas over Ridley this week? Foreign Concept. Probably yes, unless Trevor Lawrence somehow plays. Kevin Moran. CD for Puka? No, I wouldn't do that. Lane Johnson. Trade Bijan for Lamb. Lane Johnson, yes, I do that trade. Ruckus just traded Mike Evans for Chris Olave. Thoughts? I like it, Ruckus. Josh Downs or Kendrick Bourne? Ooh, good question, and yet at the same time, I'd go Kendrick Bourne, believe it or not. I'd go Kendrick Bourne. David Koo, need help. Would you trade Walker and Wilson for Cup? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. If you've got the depth at running back, yes, I would. Appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure if I've answered your question, you hit that follow button. Really appreciate you guys supporting the show. Make sure if I've answered your question, you hit that follow button. Jay Woo, I'd go Purdy over Goff. Purdy over Goff. Hoyt Stewart, trade Derrick Henry, London, and Gabe Davis for Kyron and Debo. Kyron's going to be out at least 2 weeks, it sounds like, so his value goes down. I don't like it that much right now, Hoyt Stewart. Especially since Derrick Henry might get traded and all of a sudden could be a better value. JT100. Who did you say rather, Ridley or Kirk? I think I'd rather have Kirk this week. I think because the Lattimore cornerback 1 matchup on Ridley might make it tough on him. So I actually think Kirk actually could be the better play. Might go wide receiver 2 in this situation. Appreciate all of you guys joining us, hitting that follow button, subscribing no matter the channel. EJ Lara, I'm 2-4, 12-man PPR advice. Herbert, Eckler, Jacobs, Jacoby, Flowers, Laporta, Addison, with the bench of Breece Hall, Ridley, Judy, Warren, Waller, Evans, Hardman, Tank Dell. Okay, a lot of things going on here. You're loaded up on the Chargers offense. Don't love that this week, but that's okay. Jacobs, good matchup. Jacoby, if Jimmy G doesn't play, and it doesn't sound like Jimmy G's going to play, it sounds like Jimmy G's going to miss, I would probably sit Jacoby Myers, and I would probably swap in somebody else. Who that would be is probably... I'd probably move Jacoby to the flex and move Evans, or move Addison to the wide receiver position, move Jacoby to the flex, and make Evans the starter at the flex, and that's what I would do there. Zach, Ayuk, Flowers, or Olave, pick one. Zach, I'm going Olave. Zach, I'm going Olave. Just barely over Ayuk. Ayuk's got value, but I'll go Olave number one. Help, Downs or Michael Wilson. Believe it or not, Gator alum, I'm going to go Michael Wilson. I don't like the matchup this week that the Colts have going up against the Cleveland Browns, so I don't like Downs like I did last week. By the way, he didn't deliver like I hoped. He did okay. I shouldn't say that. He did okay. He came through. Jorge, start 3. Diggs, absolutely. Diggs is a must-play, guys. Guys, I actually want to put him up here on the board right now. I think Stephon Diggs is going to have a monster game. Let's quickly show this one because this is going to be one of my favorite bets of the week. I'm just putting it up here now because it comes to mind and I don't want to forget it. Everybody, get Stephon Diggs up on your board. Oh, I can't get him yet because it hasn't come in yet. That player prop bet hasn't. We're just going to save it. I'm going to put it up here right now. Guys, Stephon Diggs, over half a touchdown. I'm taking this one. Stephon Diggs, over half a touchdown. I think he's cashing that early in that game. Make sure you get that one. That's absolutely, I think he's going to have a monster game against the Patriots. I think he's going to rake against them, just crush. Would you do Puka and Breece Hall for Jacobs, Addison, and Kmet? No. Willie Tutt. I'd rather have Puka and Breece Hall. I'd rather have Puka and Breece Hall. Thanks for the question. Tyler, 4911. Trade Jacoby, Josh Jacobs, Amari Cooper for Eckler. Yes, I would. Tyler, 4911. Yes, I would, actually. Tanner Whitey's. I have Christian McCaffrey and Kyron. Do you think McCaffrey will play? It sounds like he's trending towards playing, but, you know, just be wary. He might get you the touchdown. He's not going to get you double-digit fantasy points, most likely. If McCaffrey doesn't play, I would go with Pacheco. By far, Pacheco. Puka, Flowers, or Pickens? Pick two. I'd go with Puka and Pickens. Puka and Pickens. Should I sell Montgomery? No, I'd hold on to him. Leo, 2 and 4. Should I trade Hill for Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones? Absolutely not. Bailey, please help. 2 QBR PPR. Stafford, Swift, or Goff, Jerome Ford, and Evans. I'd rather have Stafford and Swift. Or you're talking in a trade. Sorry, I thought you were talking about who to start. Who would I rather have? I'd still rather have Stafford and Swift, I think. It's close, though. It's very close. Goff's just putting up great numbers, but I like Stafford to maintain his consistency, maintain his value, and Swift's the best player remaining out of that group. I think Swift might be the best player in the entire trade. Luka Wilder, pin that again. Could we pin that one again? I missed that. Jorge Garcia, I'd go Hollywood Brown. Jorge Garcia, I'd go Hollywood Brown. Joe Simpson, would you do Mahomes for Breece Hall and Jared Goff? Mahomes, Pacheco, and Goff? I'd rather have Pacheco and Goff. Jorge Garcia, thanks so much for supporting the show. Oh, Jorge, start Diggs. Oh, start Diggs in... I'd start Diggs and Waddle. Jorge, I'd start Diggs and Waddle. Sorry about that. Just gave you one side. Diggs and Waddle. CP, I'd rather have Pacheco and Myers. CP, I'd rather have Pacheco and Myers. Xander Simmons, I'll go with... Xander Simmons, I'm going to go with ETN if Trevor Lawrence plays. Personally, I think I still like ETN a little bit more, but less so with the backup, so I might switch to Bijan if it's a backup. Collier, who would I get for Tony Pollard and CeeDee Lamb? Man, you should get Tyreek Hill. You should get amazing value. Ethan, start and sit. JT, Barkley, Bijan, and Jacobs. I don't like JT this week. I feel better about Barkley this week. I'd probably go Barkley and Jacobs. Barkley and Jacobs would probably be the two. Jorge, start 3. Sorry, I keep missing on this. Jorge, I'm gonna go Diggs, Waddle, and Rice. Jorge, I'm gonna finally get this one right for you. Diggs, Waddle, Rice. There I go. Gotcha. Tanner Whitey's, I'd go Stafford. Tanner Whitey's, I'd go Stafford. Matthew T, thank you so much for the kind words. If you guys love the content, hit the share button. Right now, I'm challenging you guys. If you guys love the content, let's do a blitz of shares. Right now, if you guys love the content, as a way of saying thank you, hit that share button. Would love to see the shares. So if you guys love the content, if you love watching Butt Fumble Sports, let us know here at Butt Fumble Sports. Hit that share button. I love seeing that little arrow pop up. So if you love the content, let us know. Hit that share button right now. Will make us feel really good over here at Butt Fumble Sports. Chris Olave or Addison this week. I'm going Chris Olave, guys. Appreciate it. Meso, I'd go Stafford. Meso, I'd go Stafford. Timothy, should I trade Jalen Hurts, Zay Flowers? Oh, Wilder, you jumped on me. Pick two, please. I'd go Olave. I'd go Olave and Lockett. Luca, I'd go Olave and Lockett. Thank you guys so much for saying so many kind words about the show. Really appreciate it. Maher or Matt Gay? Interesting question. I'd probably go Maher. Trade Jefferson for Ayuk since JJ may be out. Yep, I think so. I think that's actually a good idea. Tua and Bijan for Burrow, Jacobs, and Moore. Hayden Bloom, I'd do that. Hayden Bloom, I would do that deal. It's close, though. Eduardo Reyes. Where are the Texans this week? Yeah, I was just about to say, the Houston Texans are on a bye week this week, so Nico Collins not playing this week. Between Mike Evans and McLaurin, I'm going to lean just slightly towards McLaurin, I think. McLaurin. Joe Simpson, should I trade Godwin? By the way, keep out for weather. I say start McLaurin right now, but we got to look out for weather. If there's weather on the East Coast and there's going to be bad passing conditions, maybe we change that to Evans. So, Eduardo, just be mindful of that. Junior, I'd go Stafford over Geno Smith. Junior, I'd go Stafford over Geno Smith. Thank you guys so much for all those that hit the share button, letting us know that you love the content. Really appreciate you guys supporting the show. Darren, 123. I'd rather have DK, Stevenson, and Gibbs. I'd rather have DK, Stevenson, and Gibbs. Toe Eater Bray. I'd rather have Bijan and Waddle. I'd rather have Bijan and Waddle. Joe Simpson. I would keep Godwin. I'd keep Godwin. Tanner Whitey's. Appreciate you coming every single week for the content. Appreciate you hitting that follow button. Brancy123. I'd go Amari Cooper. Brancy123. I'd go Cooper over Pittman, and I'd go Geno over Goff. Apple user 86. I think I'd go Hunt. I think Hunt's probably the best one out of that group. Niners faithful. I'd go with Niners faithful. I'd go with Swift, and I'd go with Walker right now. ETN, I'm on the fence about. Walker's definitely a start for me. It's between Swift and ETN, and I'm going to lean towards Swift right now, Niners faithful. I think they're going to run the ball well in that game. Trade Pacheco and McLaurin for Keenan Allen. I actually, if you really want to upgrade at the wide receiver position, yes. Harry, if you've got the depth at running back, I do it, but don't ignore Pacheco's value long term. Darius 1991, start 2. Kamara and ETN. I don't like Jonathan Taylor this week. Brutal matchup. Dylan, hey, what's good? Great to see you. Pick 1. I'd go with Roschon Johnson, I think. It's between Evans and Roschon Johnson. I'll go Evans right now, actually. I'll switch towards Evans, but it's close. Julio, bye. See you, Julio. Timothy, long term. Addison or DK? DK. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Make sure you guys have hit that follow button. Make sure you guys are hitting that follow button. Trade St. Brown for Devontae Adams. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Stobo, Marius, great to see you. You've been so loyal as a viewer. Really appreciate it, man. Really appreciate you supporting the show. LT, trade Jefferson and Mostert for Devontae Adams and ETN. No. I trade Jefferson and see if you could get somebody, but I like Mostert and Pollard more than I like ETN. That's why I feel that way. And I'm not that high on Devontae Adams. Sure, it's the 2-for-1, but I'd rather have the running backs you're giving up. Ford or Hunt this week, I'd go Ford. Should I trade Hurts, Flowers for CeeDee Lamb and Murray? Kyle Murray? It's all of a sudden kind of an interesting thing because it sounds like he's going to be back actually later this year. But I'll stay with Hurts and Flowers. I'll stay with Hurts and Flowers for now. Do I like Yordan Alvarez tonight? Abso-freaking-lutely. In fact, let's put Yordan Alvarez up here. I like 2 Yordan Alvarez picks tonight. I like Yordan Alvarez over half a hit. And I like Yordan Alvarez over half a walk. So for those guys, for all of you who are looking towards some player prop bets in tonight's MLB game, Yordan Alvarez rakes against Max Scherzer. Yordan Alvarez, really good numbers against Scherzer in his career. With that said, over half a hit. You're not getting great value on it on FanDuel. By the way, this is why you're not loyal to one sportsbook. FanDuel's offering that at minus 260. What a terrible freaking line odds that is. Meanwhile, DraftKings at minus 185. The difference between that is night and day. Yordan Alvarez has been red hot. Hits Scherzer well. I do like that. Additionally, over half a walk. I know it's minus 115, but it is a bet that I like. Yordan Alvarez getting half a walk. I am going to take that. Appreciate you guys being with us every single day. If you love the content and the conversation, make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're part of the show. Waiver ad this week. Oh, I missed that. Can you throw that back up there? To any of our moderators, sorry, I missed that one. Can you throw that back up there? Man, I trade Travis Etienne for Keenan Allen. Man, I would do that. I'd rather have Allen. User 9027, trade Judy and Palmer for Myers. No, I don't actually think it's worth it. I understand why you're thinking it, but no, I don't like it. Should I trade McCaffrey and Montgomery for Diggs, Mostert, and Pollard? Cooper Stone, yes, I would. Actually, love the deal. Jorge, Chris Archer, Pacheco, and Ingram, 100%. Don't know what we're talking about. Ridley or Gibbs at the flex. Ooh, I'd probably go... If Trevor Lawrence is playing, I go Ridley. Otherwise, I'll go Gibbs. Drop Reynolds for Zach Evans. Yes, I would for this week, though I think Craig Reynolds has value maybe rest of year in spot starts. Bijan and Etienne both start this week. Sure, I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence starting for the Etienne value, but PPR, should I start London, Watson, Pickens, or Deontay Johnson? I'll go Watson, and I'll go with Pickens over Johnson. It's close though. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. We have been live for just under an hour. Hope you guys are enjoying the content and the conversation no matter where you're watching. TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. Butt Fumble Sports is live every single day, every weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So if you ever want to join us, make sure you're hitting that follow button and looking for us at 5 p.m. Eastern on weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on weekends. We also do shows every night now for subscribers, almost every night. We did last night, we will tonight. So for subscribers on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We will be live tonight, again, just like last night. Do you like Yordan Alvarez to hit the first HFS? I don't know what that is, JP. HFS? I don't know what that is, sorry. Matthew, any waiver ads this week that you would start over Ramondre Stevenson? Zach Evans. Yep, Zach Evans I would. Jerome Ford's out there. I probably would as well. What running back could I get for Laporta? Ooh, that's a good question. Kenneth Walker III? Brock Ford. Start 2, please. I'd go Zach Evans, and I'd go Jackson Smith and Jigba. Quasmatic. Jags defense or the Rams defense? Rams defense. Rams defense. Mr. Lopez, I'd go Laporta. Mr. Lopez, I'd go Laporta. Chase, I'd go Pierce for Addison. Yes, it's okay. Pierce is starting to really struggle in terms of the number of carries he's getting every week. Oh, I think I accidentally sent an invite to somebody. I don't know if I meant to do that. By the way, I thought about doing this earlier. Are you guys ever interested in me having other people join the show in that join conversation? If you guys do, let me know. I'd be curious to know if you guys are interested in that. It's my username, Pacheco for Waddle. Yep, that's a fair trade as long as you have the depth at running back. Brand C, I'd go with Carr. I'd go with Carr. Brand C, 1, 2, 3, I'd go with Carr. Dax Durbin, Christian Watson. Dax Durbin, I'd go with Christian Watson. Thank you guys so much for joining the show every single day. Hope you guys love the content that we put out. We put out videos almost every day, as obviously also being live, so make sure you hit that follow button. That way you never miss the content or the conversation. Do you like Robinson, Stevenson, and Bijan more than Bijan and Etienne? I probably like Bijan and Brian Robinson the most if Trevor Lawrence doesn't play. If Trevor Lawrence plays, I like Etienne more. How long do you think Montgomery and Kyren are out? I think Kyron's out 2 weeks. I think Montgomery might be just 1 more week, maybe 2, but it's kind of up in the air. Reynolds or Mason this week? Frankie, Trey, I'd probably go Jordan Mason. I'd go Jordan Mason probably. Jets info, Amon-Ra for Garrett Wilson into 2024 first. If you're in a keeper league and you get to keep Garrett Wilson and you get the 2024 first, yes, I would, Jets info. I would do that deal in that situation. Jackson or Herbert rest of season? I'm going to go Herbert. Diego Garcia, Mayfield or Ritter? Mayfield. Would you trade Ayuk for Jonathan Taylor? Yes, I would actually. Spencer, Jordan Addison or Michael Pittman? I'd go Addison. Spencer, I'd go Addison. Darian, should I trade Devontae Adams, Montgomery, Puka for Stephon Diggs? No, you're giving up way too much. You're giving up too much. Purdy or Lamar Jackson this week? I'll go Purdy. I think it's Purdy. Michael Shelton, Thomas or Zach Evans? I'll go Evans. Have Laporta and Kelsey. Who should I trade? I trade Laporta. It's my username. How is Roshan Johnson still in protocol? I think he's going to play this week, though. Is Hollywood and Ayuk for Diggs a good trade? Absolutely. If you're getting Diggs back, absolutely. James Cook or Dobbs? I'd go Dobbs. I would go with Dobbs. Would you rather have Mixon and Kirk or Lockett and Pacheco? I'd rather have Lockett and Pacheco. Hitter, JP, hitter fantasy score. Yeah, I like Jordan Alvarez to go over his hitter fantasy score. Absolutely. By the way, guys, I mentioned it earlier. One of the companies that backs our show, supports our show, and sponsors our show is Rival Fantasy. Love what they offer in terms of challenges. It's another way that you guys can cash in. Who's going to score more fantasy points? Jordan Alvarez, Max Scherzer. Kind of an interesting one. You can skip through these. Scherzer and Altuve, Scherzer and Garcia. So just a lot of options. You guys can also play Fantasy Bingo for MLB. That way you can build the ultimate fantasy lineup. Of course, there's season-long leagues as well on Rival Fantasy. If you guys ever want to check this out, go download the Rival Fantasy app. Rival Fantasy, great new company. Love the fact they're making themselves available in a number of ways with different games. You see Jordan Alvarez, I bring him back up just to see his likelihood. If we shift this to the over, likelihood that he gets a hit, 65%. Likelihood that he goes over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, 55%. The answer is yes. I do love Jordan Alvarez tonight against Max Scherzer. Trade Higgins, Lockett, Moss for Ayuk and Gibbs. No, I actually would not do that deal. Aiden Sargent, I would not do that trade. Is Zach Evans a decent start? Yes, he is. R. Robbie Robertson, Hill or Dillon? Dillon. Oh, rest of season? By the way, you can drop Anthony Richardson. Richardson's done for the year. So unless you're in a keeper league, you can drop Anthony Richardson. He's done for the year. That thing's done. How long do you think Montgomery and Kyren out? Brock Ford, I answered that one. Kyren Williams, at least 2 weeks. Montgomery, there's a chance he could play next week. Got to double check the schedule. See when the Lions bye is. Are the Lions on a bye next week? Yeah, they are. So even better. So Montgomery will probably be back after the bye week. So that would be week 9 for Montgomery. Would you trade Mixon? I actually think he's proven that he's got fantasy value. So unless you're getting a good return for him, no. No problem, Brock Ford. Really appreciate you guys joining us. We have been live for 1 hour. Make sure you guys hit that follow button. Make sure you subscribe. We are giving you guys data, analytics, trends, and obviously a lot of advice based on those data, analytics, and trends that we do during the day. So I do my research during the day, then I obviously come on with you guys to do our shows. So if you guys are ever worried about, hey, how's he coming up with these, pieces of advice? We're doing our research during the day to look at the best matchups, who's getting the most carries, who's getting the most yardage, who's getting the most snap count usage, as well as who's got the best matchup that week. So if you guys are ever worried about that, now, sometimes I do flip-flop. It really is because you guys will put up two players and it's like, man, they both have variables that either work in their favor or work against them. Kind of hard to evaluate them. Pineapple better than this watermelon, kind of tricky, but sometimes there are little indications. We do the best we can to help you guys out. Hope you guys love the content, the conversation. If you do, hit that follow button. Make sure you're a member of Butt Fumble Sports. By the way, we're going to be giving out some merchandise this week. We've got a lot of merchandise that I want to give out to say thank you to you loyal butt fumblers, those who join us every single day. So we will be giving out a code to give you guys a discount on our merch. We're going to be dropping that tomorrow as a big thank you guys to the loyal viewers. So if you're a loyal viewer, you're hearing it now. That way you can get a ton off on the merch as a thank you guys for supporting the show. Drop Singletary or Ahmed to add Evans. I drop Ahmed, believe it or not. I think I drop Ahmed. I think Singletary's carries could be going up, actually. Should I start Debo or Brian Robinson this week? Make sure Debo's healthy. If Debo's healthy enough to start, I would go with Debo. But given that's a Monday night matchup, you might be a little slow to hear the status of his injury. Otherwise, Robinson's a fine play. Trade Devontae for Jacobs? Yes, I actually would. Addison and Gibbs. Oh, IP Shade 45. Thanks so much for Henry the Hedgehog. Mateo. Addison and Gibbs for Rice and Spears. Great question. The answer is, I think that's a good trade. I actually think it's worth it. It's a sneaky good trade. I'd actually ask for one more player. I'd ask for Rice, Spears, and somebody else because that's a brand name trade that you actually could maybe pick up one more player. So I'd ask for one more, but a great idea. Should I drop Judy for Kyler Murray? Not just yet. I'm waiting to pick up Kyler Murray until he's not just back at practice, but actually going to be back on the field. So if you guys want all of my bets every single day, just DM me on Instagram, guys. And if you guys want access to Outlier, like Brandon, I'll hook you guys up with a referral code as well. So Brandon, I will hook you up after the show. If you guys want access to Outlier, DM me on Instagram. If you want all of my bets for free, I give out all of my picks, all of my bets for free every single day on the SHARPZ app. So all you have to do is DM me on Instagram. That's Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram. Just DM me there, and I give out every pick that I make every day, and almost every pick that I make, I use Outlier to confirm it, validate it, obviously do my research. If you guys want access to my picks or access to Outlier, just DM me on Instagram. You can get both. I still owe you guys a SHARPZ play of the day. I'm going to give that one out, and it's not going to be for tonight's MLB game. I'm going to avoid that. I'm a little bit nervous about that when it comes to which side to play. I feel like the Astros plus 1.5 is the better play, so I will put it up on the board, but it's not going to be my SHARPZ play of the day. I am going to take the Astros plus 1.5, but it's not going to be my SHARPZ play of the day. For that, I'm going to turn over to the NFL, and I'm looking at tomorrow night's game. Trevor Lawrence plays, Trevor Lawrence doesn't play. It don't matter to me, because I'm taking the under in this game no matter what. Now, right now, I don't like that line that much. I'd rather get the under at, let's say, 42.5, minus 150. That's exactly what I took on the SHARPZ app. That's the exact bet I made on the SHARPZ app. Again, if you want every bet that I make every single day, you can follow, you can fade. Totally up to you. You can also comment on them. I love hearing from you guys about what you think of my picks. But you can go over and DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram, so you can track my picks every day. I'll hook you guys up with a referral code and a link. All you guys have to do is DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram. My SHARPZ play of the day is going to be the Jaguar Saints under 42.5. giving that out right now. Obviously, I'll give out more picks tomorrow, but putting that out there right now so you guys can bet it, because I'm sure there's going to be line movement there. I'm taking it at 42.5 right now. That's going off at minus 150. For all of you watching, I'm sure that's going to move. Make sure you get that now. 42.5, really good spot. Do I think this is going to be a 21-21 game? No, I don't. I think one of these teams is going to be disappointing in the number of points they score. So I'm going to take the under. The Saints have hit the under in every game this year. This is a short week. I don't think, Jacksonville coming off a massive scoring performance. I don't think they're going to be able to repeat that going up against a good Saints defense. I'll take the under 42.5 as the Sharps play of the day. Few more minutes in our show before we're going to sign off. So a few more minutes of answering your fantasy questions. Do I trade Thielen, Kamara, and Waddle for Adams, Walker, and Thomas? The answer is no. Lucas Quack, no, I wouldn't. Ingram or Jonnu Smith? I'd go Jonnu Smith unless Trevor Lawrence plays. Adrian, is this a good 12-man team? Herbert, Saquon, Cook, Hill, Waddle, Laporta, Wilson, Brown on the bench. Look, Cook is your second running back, so weakness. You need to upgrade there. Who are some good running backs off the waiver wire this week? Evans, Latavius Murray, two names that certainly came to mind. If Jerome Ford's still out there, I'd certainly pick him up. Brock Ford, do you think Aaron Jones will play? Yes, I do, and I think he's going to have a really good game, Brock Ford. Think he probably gets close to 12, 13 fantasy points. Christian Watson or Stevenson or Addison. Mr. Lopez, Christian Watson. Christian Watson would be the play. Xander Simmons, I'd go Puka, and I'd go Godwin. Xander Simmons, Puka, and Godwin. Frankie Trey, I'd go Zach Evans. Frankie Trey, I'd go Zach Evans. Gavin Wheeler, what do I do with Jefferson? I have Adams, A.J. Brown, Etienne, Walker. I'd trade him. You're 5-1. Maybe I would trade him. I'd go shopping and see if you can get someone who'd be baiting on Jefferson. Trade Jefferson and Ayuk for Diggs. Absolutely. Tyler Younes, I'd do that deal right now. Make that deal right now. Brant C, 1, 2, 3. Do you like Pitts or Cole Kmet this week? I'd go Kyle Pitts. Cam traded Devontae Adams for Tua. Still have Chase, Ayuk, Evans, and Christian Kirk. Had Stafford. Is that a win? I mean, I like it. I think because between Tua and Stafford, one of those guys should be having a good passing opportunity, should have a good matchup. I actually think it's a really good move because those are two of the highest volume in terms of passing quarterbacks. I actually really like that move. Not bad. I know Devontae Adams looks like a better brand name play, but honestly, look at his fantasy stats of late. Not. Thoughts on Julio Jones? I think that's more a nice storyline, but no, I don't actually think he's a player worth picking up. Okay, guys, if you guys want to join us tonight, we will be doing a show only for subscribers. A subscriber-only show tonight, probably around 10:30, just like we did last night. If you guys want to join that show, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's going to be only for subscribers tonight to pay off you guys for contributing and supporting the show. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And we do that show at least 4 or 5 times a week. I'm trying to do it even more, but make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We will be doing that show again at like 10:30 tonight. Steelers or Lions defense, John Bills. Man, I really don't like either one. I'll go Lions defense. Trade Saquon for Pollard? Yes. Smack Jack? Yes, I would. Cayenne, choose 2. I'd go Watson and Addison. Do you like Javier pitcher fantasy score better than strikeouts? I probably like strikeouts more. It's pretty close. Wow. It's pretty close. I don't know, because I could see him getting to like 6 innings, allowing 2 runs. But again, I still think that means he gets the strikeouts. So I'm going to lean towards the strikeouts just barely, I think. Z. Roddy, Mixon or for Aaron Jones? I'd actually do it. I think the value's there. Also, JJ and DJ Moore for CD Lamb. Yes, Frigid, I would do that trade. Curtis Samuel, Drake London, or Michael Thomas at the flex. I'd go Drake London. I think just barely over Michael Thomas. It's close. I might switch that to Michael Thomas. It's close. He just hasn't had the value production the last couple of weeks. I'm dope. Stafford or Jordan Love this week? I'm going to go with Stafford. I like Jordan Love this week, but I would go with Stafford. Brock, God's version. Should I do Josh Allen and Tyreek Hill for Tua and Eckler? No, I'd rather have Allen and Tyreek Hill. Allen and Tyreek Hill. Heezy, 2K. I traded Bijan and Ford for Mixon and Kamara. Is that good? Yes, it is. Yes, it is, actually. Jackson Elliott, trade Bijan, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Stafford for McCaffrey, Puka, and Ford. I actually like that deal. Jackson Elliott. I like that trade. Good job. Ramy. Should I trade Saquon and Kirk for Eckler and Rashad White? Yes. Yes, I would, actually. Yes, I would. Yeah. Trade Jones for McLaurin and Moss. Which Jones? The answer is yes, because I don't know a Jones that would be worth keeping. Appreciate you guys being with us. Appreciate all of those that have been watching across all of our platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Kick. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're a part of this amazing community of sports fans that is live every single day. There is not one day of 2023 I won't be live answering your fantasy questions, your sports betting questions, and your DFS questions, and of course ranting about sports as well. So make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're part of this amazing community. Big shout out to the loyal butt fumblers. You guys know who you are. You show up every day. You make time out of your day to watch our content, ask your questions. If you're a loyal butt fumbler, thank you so much. I am so grateful. You have no idea how awesome it is to know that we have people watching around the world, around the country, every single day, asking us questions, engaging with us, being a part of this amazing team army. Team cashing tickets. Team cashing tickets over here at Butt Fumble Sports. Now, I am going to sign off right now. We're going to do our subscriber-only show later tonight. I'm going to go eat some dinner. I'm going to watch this baseball game, and I will be live later tonight. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that follow button. We will be live, like I said, at 10:30 tonight. So make sure you're with us, answering all of your fantasy questions. And by the way, if you're like, oh, is the subscriber-only show like this show? No. If you subscribe, we answer every question that you have. I stay on as long as it takes. We answer your questions, so make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I hope you guys stay healthy. I hope you stay safe. I hope you have a wonderful night. I will catch you guys later tonight. So if you guys are loving the content, the conversation, no worries. We will be live later tonight. And make sure you guys are with us for that subscriber-only show, helping you guys out with that later this evening. As always, I hope you guys cash a ton of tickets tonight on this MLB baseball game. And if you do have bets, share them with us on the SHARPZ app. I would love to know what bets you guys are making. That way I can tail them. So hit us up on the SHARPZ app or DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram. And that way I can share all of my picks with you guys tonight over there on the SHARPZ app. Hope you guys have a great night. Catch you guys tonight for the subscriber-only show. Until